Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. Now this video is going to be a little more educational. I'll show you where we need to go first and shouldn't be getting into a trade right now. But I did scalp this overnight on the 1 minute level time frame, but I didn't want to post this because there's so many updates you have to do when you're scalping. That's why I don't really post scalps anything below like the 15-minute level, because it's just I can't update you guys fast enough to be able to give these setups. So first of all, unfortunately I only got 1/3 position filled. As you know, I usually buy at the 382.50 and the 618 of a retracement, but I was doing it manually as I was watching it and I didn't get it completely filled. I only got 1/3. But anyways, just to show full transparency, this is the trade setup I took. Currently up 326 in it. You can see my entry was 161.9 and my current stops at 167.8. So up pretty good. Unfortunately, that was only 1/3 position filled. Could have done much better. But that was my mistake, and I'll show you where that mistake was. So real quick, if you weren't aware yesterday of the video, I'm going to leave a link in the description to yesterday's video because not a lot's changed and we go pretty in depth into what we're expecting to happen here. So if you want to check that out, link in the description and the first pinned comment. But basically looking for this wave on the micro to come up between the 382 and the 50 minimum before either making one more wave down to complete a bunch of different things, or the correction's complete and we'd actually break through and make a 5-wave pattern, expecting our 5th knot to be in yet. Okay, so check out yesterday's video if you're not up to date on this. Right now I just wanted to go over how I scalped this yesterday because a subscriber was asking for a little bit of advice on scalping. I wish I could give updates on this, but like things change so quickly when you're on the 1 minute, and obviously I can't get that out to people in time. So what happened here, if you watch yesterday's video, is I thought this was either making a wave 1 or an A wave to the upside because we had 5 waves complete, as either a C wave complete or a 3rd wave complete. So I was expecting this to come up to the 382 of this down move, because you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So expecting at least the wave to come up to here if it's a 4th, or to start an impulse if we've actually completed down here. So down on the 1 minute, I knew I was looking for upside. So first I thought, okay, what's our 1-to-1 extension? Okay, our A off our B, the 1-to-1 extensions here at 164.1, and that would just be an ABC, which could turn to a larger A wave, come back for a B, C to the upside, and keep moving to the upside correctively, right? And alternatively, I thought, okay, this could also be 5 waves as an A wave or as a wave 1. So as we got this correction to the downside, we came pretty deep. We passed through the 618 extension, and I was a little bit weary of this because this looked like it could be a 3rd wave. So I just waited. I was like, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we come down for our 5th, right? If we don't overlap, we could come down for 5, and this could not be done yet. So I waited. Then I saw this, and I was like, okay, now it has to be a 3-wave correction. Looks pretty impulsive. It didn't take much time to get there. So I'm going to take this pullback and at least expect to hit the 1-to-1 extension there as an ABC. So that was my mindset. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the pullback here. I didn't put on a fib retracement because they get a little wonky in the very small time frames. So I bought a 1/3 of my entry right there at 1 point. I guess it ended up being 1.619, but it was a little lower, so I was probably buying up on this candle. But I was expecting it to come down here, right? I was looking for, this was all the correction we got, and I was expecting a micro ABC like this. That's why I only got a third of my entry, unfortunately. So that was my entry, 1.619 right there. Stop went at this low because I thought this is either a 1-2, 1-2, or it's gonna turn into an A, B, C to at least the 1-to-1, and this would be a WXY if that was the case, right? So I was looking for that target initially. I didn't put my take profit at that level or anything, but that was kind of where I was expecting rejection if we were coming back to the downside. Again, my bias was we need upside because we had a completed wave potentially done here, but my initial was this expectation. So when this looked like it was a 1-2, 1-2, we got this move to the upside. I was like, okay, we could be nesting here, 1-2. But if this is bullish, this has to be nesting 1-2s. So I moved my stop as soon as we started correcting here up to this level, right? This last break, because if this is a 1-2, 1-2, then we shouldn't come to this level. Again, I knew this could easily collapse against me. This could have just been this could be all part of one correction where this is an A. Hang on, let me get rid of this stuff so you can see what I'm saying. Again, this could have all been part of the same correction where this is an A wave and this is a flat, and we just collapsed down here, right, before going to the upside. So I knew my stop could get triggered here, no problem. But if we are bullish, it's a 1-2, 1-2, right? If we're not, we'll probably come down and challenge this low, and this is just an ABC in a larger correction where this would become an ABC. So this is how things kind of overlap, and you have to pay attention to these things. I was like, I'm in the trade, might as well leave it. If we invalidate this level, we're probably challenging the new low, at which point if we come down here, I'll get a better entry. So I just took a chance on the entry, right? There's no guarantees in trading. You just have to trade the best you can. And if the pattern changes, okay, where's the next trade? And that's what I was thinking here. If I get stopped out here, next trade would be, this is an A wave, this is a B wave, and we're going up for a C. And if we stop me out, I'd take my extension tool, expect it to pivot around the 1-to-1 of the first wave. We're making a flat. I hope that made sense, but you got to adjust it like that, right? But we didn't fail. I got a 1-2, 1-2. And as soon as, so this was my stop at this point. Put that right on the 1.69 right there. So that was my entry at this point, right? And I still would have lost if I got stopped out, but way less, like 1/3 of that entry, right? So if this is 1-2, 1-2, once we made this new high, then I move my stop into profit at this pivot. So it'd have to be a 1-2, 1-2. Because it overlapped, right? So it can't be anything else if we're bullish. So I then move my stop to here into profit. So there was no way I could lose. That was my entry. That was my stop. So I was counting this out, 1-2, 1-2, and then we went through. Okay, I'm like, we have a 3 and a 4. So now our stop moves even higher up to this one because that can't overlap. And I was starting to get my count to fill out. It's like, okay, we have a 1-2, we have a 1-2, 3, 4, 5 as we came up. So that was our 3, 4, and our 5th wave up. We got very extended here up to the 2.236. See how that worked? We had a 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, and at that point I moved the stop up to here once we got this 3, 4, because again the 4th wave cannot overlap with the wave 1, right? And once we got up to this 4th and 5th, Then I put on the fib level, the fibs of this third wave, and I kept adjusting my stop up to just behind the 50. Because if we're getting a fourth wave, probabilities say we come to between the 382 and the 50, right? So that's how I adjusted it even from there. So once we got that third wave, now my stop's moving up to here. And that's when I went to bed, I believe, somewhere around this time, and my stop's been there overnight. But where I've adjusted it now is this could be a completed ABC, and this could just roll over completely. And this is a 3, we're getting a 3, and I expect a 5 up, and we're making a flat for our potential correction before we get more downside. Could be getting this, right? Make sense? Where this would just be an A, B, C. And we can probably pull some fibs, see where that would likely come to. Probably hit between the 1.236 and 382, and that would get us right up to that 382 area, which is the red dotted line up here. As you can see, it's starting to fail here. It doesn't look like it's going to get that fifth wave. So what I did, now my stop is up here, and I might get stopped out in real time here on the video, because this should have been our pivot for our wave 4, and it looks like it's going to fail to me. And we should have just come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, complete, get our A, B, C, right? And that's our 5-wave pattern to the upside. Boom, done. And then we can get very excited for the next move, because that's usually the beginning of a new pattern if you get 5. But it looks like we're getting a bigger B wave over here. So what I'll do now, since my stop's here, hang on, I'll explain why I put my stop there. So I was expecting this to be the pivot low, and this is looking like a pretty choppy wave. So I moved my stop. Once we started moving here, I moved my stop to this bottom, because this is 1, 2, again, 1, 2, right here. So if we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, I'd expect us to move to the upside and finish that wave. So similar to the reasoning down here, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, this shouldn't break, right? Otherwise, this is most likely just a corrective move. It's a WXY, and we're coming down for that C. So looks like I'm about to get stopped out. There's my entry. I'll probably make 300 off it, something like that. But my next entry will be down at this level, looking for more upside. So we'll look at my pivots here, pull this down. So our wave looks like it's completed. I'm expecting that to fail now. It doesn't look like it's going to make 5. It still can, perhaps like an ending diagonal, but I'm not going to stay in this trade. I'm not going to start reevaluating things and giving it way more time than it should have. As you can see, it should be finishing somewhere here. It's taking a lot of time. It's starting not to look right. So there's our potential entry for our C wave as an A, B, C. So that's the next trade I'll look for if I get stopped out here. A, B, C. Looking to come down in 3 or 5, at which point take a long if you want to. If you're risk adverse, you put it at the low and targeting at least that 1-to-1, but I'll be looking for that 382, which is that dotted red line up there for our 4th wave between the 382 and the 50. So it's a nice little 2.6-to-1 trade, but as you can see, you can do much better if you're able to pick up these bottoms and your entry's something like this, right? Once you get a pivot bottom like I had over here, my entry was like this, and I knew there's the potential that we get that massive wave, right? So I get I get much more position sizing by doing that, and better risk rewards. Again, maybe this is educational for you guys. I did get that question of how do you manage your trades when you're scalping, because most of my trades are scalping down at the 5 and 1 minute level, pretty much all day, every day. For the channel, I can't give updates on that. It just happens too fast. That's why I don't go lower than the 15 minute. So what I would give you is that trade setup I showed you here, where it's an ABC. It's kind of the best I can give you, where you get updated same day and be able to make a decision to take the trade or not yourself, right? So it's kind of the best I can do, but you're going to be in it for, you know, a couple days. So you don't have the opportunity to take those scalps all day long, which is where a lot of the money is made. But yeah, guys, that's where my stop is. Probably stop out plus 300. Again, disappointing. I only got 1/3 filled, but it is what it is. And as for now, that's what I'm expecting on Rune. If I get stopped out here, looking for this C wave down to between the 50 and the 618 of this entire move, then look for 5 waves to the upside, or a 3-wave pattern if we get a WXY. And still possible we get this 5th. I'd want to see one more higher high, but it looks like it would have to be some sort of ending diagonal, and I'm not going to wait through that. My stops, the 1 2 1 2, could get something like this as an ending diagonal. Really not tradable at the moment, though. You can clearly see why. Something like this, and then we get our ABC. And I'd be more excited for that trade because then we have 5 waves complete. But yeah, that's my trade setup, guys. That's where I'm at. Let me know if you like these type of videos where I explain why I move my stops, how I move them, etc. Because I do want to help most I can, and if I can explain it clear, I'm happy to do that. All right, guys, thanks for watching.